Welcome to my Challenger Diana guide, and I'll be explaining to you everything you need to know to understand how to 1v9 on Diana, and enjoy! Spacing. This is gonna be one of the crucial things on Diana that you have to master because your passive gives you extra attack speed, and being able to space properly is important. And what do I mean by spacing? Is knowing when you can hit and move without cancelling your alt attack. So you don't want to cancel your alt attacks, right? But finding the sweet spot where you can hit and move is very important. Take a look at this example. Alright, take a look here. As I hit him, right, the Fiora, you can see that I'm hitting and moving extremely fast. Every single time you hit your opponent, you need to know when you can hit the move. Practice this in custom game if you need to. Passive. So what does Diana passive give? It gives you attack speed after using a spell. So what you want to be doing is keeping your passive always up. So try to have your passive up as you're clearing camps or having fights, making sure it's up. And as for your bonus damage, every third attack, it deals additional damage. So if you hit a target 3 times, it deals an additional damage. And with this Gundon, the following happens. So now I got this Gundon and see what happens. I alt attack, Q, alt attack. It instantly procs your passive. So what you want to be doing, if let's say you are hitting a target and you have this Gundon, you want to ideally like use your W when your Duskendon is available. So don't use all your spells at the same time. Use your W when your Duskendon comes off cooldown. That is very important. Like look here, alt attack, cooldown, off cooldown, I use it. That's how I undo it, and I'll show you some examples. Take a look at this example here. You can see I have Duskendon and see how I play this. I do not use my W, you see. I actually held it because I know that the moment my W is used, it should be on Duskendon. So now I'm pressing my Duskendon, it procced again. And look at my item. It's 2 seconds cooldown. I'm not using my Q because I know I can kill him in 1 Q anyway. So I use my Q right as my Duskendon's coming. And now, Duskendon's coming again. I just E alt attack to instantly proc my Duskendon again and my passive. So you can see that if I'm playing against champions that are a bit tankier, I will look to time my passive of Duskendon very well with my spells. In this example here, I'll be using my passive to hit the Nefiri. You can see here I hit the red buff twice. And now, as I have 2 passive stacks, as you can see, I instantly proc my passive. And I kill all his pets, and basically, you deal much more damage now. Because you basically preemptively hit the camps and get your passive. I'll show you one last example. Alright, you can see right here that as I'm going on the Vex here, right, I hit the minions. And now, I hit the minion 1 time. Now, I Q alt attack to proc my Duskendon. So always, if possible, try to get 3 stacks from a minion or whatever before a fight, if possible. Diana Q. So this is actually the most important ability of Diana, and this is some secret trick that's very important that no one actually does, but I'll show you. So take a look at this dummy, right? You can see that it basically looks like it almost hits the dummy, right? But look, it actually doesn't hit the dummy and it's impossible to reach it, you see? However, now, if I move my mouse like right here, I can hit it. And you might be wondering, Kirei, what the f***? There's no difference, no? Yeah, and technically there's no difference. However, Riot Games is spaghetti code, and basically, if you have your Q a bit further away, it actually extends the range. So that's why instead of queuing a target on top of them, I almost always recommend you to do it a bit further. And how much further? Is basically this is all you need. It doesn't have to be too far, because I'll show you. Here's still fine, here's still fine, here's still fine, here's still fine. Now, from this moment onwards, I can't reach it anymore, you see? But from this moment, here, I reach it. So that's the thing, right? And that's how you want to use Diana Q. So now we spoke about the Diana Q on at least putting it a bit further, right? So instead of putting it like here, put it like a bit further to extend the range. So after knowing this, right, what you want to learn next is where should you aim your Q? So I'll put it from 4 angles. From this angle, and right here, and right there, okay? So you can see from 4 angles. So how it works with Diana Q is that, like I said, never ever put your Q on top of the target. Just always put it a bit more to the left upper side. So left upper side would basically be around here. So you see the mark? Basically, you don't want to hit it in the center. Essentially, you want your Q to hit as soon as possible. If you hit your Q like this, it's slower. If you hit your Q like this, it's faster. Because it goes in a straight line, as you can see. And honestly, as long as you hit the target, that's what you want, right? It doesn't matter how you hit it, as long as you hit it and fast. And the best way is like around here, because you then hit the Q. Now, from this angle, where should I hit it? And now I'm gonna pause, right? Like, I want you to think, where should I aim my Q? Like, just think about, should I aim it here, here? Where the hell should it be? Like, think about it, and let's see if you can guess correctly. I hope you thought about it, and essentially it's here. Because look at the Q. I'm trying to hit it right here, and if I want to extend the range a bit, this would be the sweet spot. Instead of like here. So, think like this, okay? This is how it looks like. If you want to hit this target, right here, it's not behind him, it's a bit behind him to the right. That's how you want to hit the target. That's how I have to envision it. So if let's say you see that someone is like here, and there's obviously a dummy in the bush, right? Same principle. Instead of hitting like here or here, on the side a little bit. So you see this range? A bit to the side. And then you're gonna hit it perfectly, you see? In the center. Same for this way. It's just very important. I want to put some extra time onto it, because understanding this makes your life a lot easier, you know? Because look, as an angle, right? If I hit it here, that's the wrong direction. It needs to be this way. So, go in custom game, legit, try to figure out, okay, how to hit targets consistently, put some random dummies, and go from different angles. See if you can guess it correctly. And see if you understand, okay, I know exactly where to throw the Diana Q. And yeah, that's it about Diana Q, and I'll be showing some game examples. So this is the first example here, okay? Look, take a look at my Q. And before I use my Q, where do you think I would put my Q? If you see this target, where would I put it? Would I put it here, 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 here? Like, where would I put it? Think about it. And see if you guess correctly. Alright? You guessed it right. If there will be a dummy here, it will be around this area here, okay? So you see my mouse? I use my Q around this area. And that's how I want to aim my Q. Let's take a look at the next example. Alright, right here. I want you to pause and think, where would you put the Q? Right now. If you see this target, and let's say I'm closer, okay? Would I put it? Like, where would I put it? And that's the best way to learn, right? Actually pause and think, what would I do? And now let's take a look. You can see my mouse. I Q right here. So imagine there's like a dummy behind him here and then around here, right? But this works as well. You can try different angles, but as long as it's not like here, it should be a bit always to the side. But yeah, here you can see, I Q'd him perfectly in the center. And now he's dead. Another Q example. Oh, actually before, like, look, take a look at Brom. Another example, look. Would I put it here? But no, remember, it's never like straight in front of him. It's always to the side. Now, which side is it? Left side or right side? It's here. I hope I do it myself. You see as well? My Q is like going all the way here, so I can extend it. In case he flashes for whatever reason. Now, one last Q to show you. Alright, in this example, take a look and look at my Q. Right here, you see this target? Where would I aim it? Like, actually, like, think right now, literally, where I would put my Q if I can use my Q right now. Let's see if you guess correctly. I literally move my screen away. And I'm literally, like, right there. Because my Q, in the end, is gonna go like this. Right? You can see, I'm literally, like, putting my Q here. Because that guy is, like, really close, and, no, sorry, really far away. So I'm maxing out my Q range. Boom. I hit him. Trust me, if I put a regular Q, I would not have landed it. Because I did like a long Q, I actually landed it. They're very crucial. Without the long Q, I would not hit this. If I would aim my Q here, I'll probably miss it. But instead, I moved it all the way right there. And that's how you want to use your Qs, okay? And now let's go to W usage. W usage. So one thing you have to understand with W is that it basically explodes on the first target, right? So let's say that you want to go on this target right here. If I use my Q, E, W, all of them at the same time, I will hit my W on this target. So take a look here, okay? I'm not going to be hitting him. But as I press my W before, it's going to hit it. So even if I'm not in melee range, take a look here, okay? You see? It basically procced already on the first dummy. So what you want to be doing is, if you press Q on the target, use your W after, not before. Because the last thing you'd want is like Wing, and then the first dummy being hit. You don't want that. Look at this example. Alright, so look here. You can see here that there's a minion in front of me, okay? And because there's a minion in front of me, I'm like, well, I'll wait for my W. I QE, get onto him, then I press my W. This way, my damage is gonna come through 100%. Diana E. So Diana E basically is a dash, and you can dash if you hit your Q. Basically how it works is that like your QE, before your Q hits, you can still QE and it'll reset as long as you land it. However, if you let's say E without Q, it goes with cooldown. So what you want to do as Diana, right, is like QE a target, hit him, and wait till your W comes back up. If it's not up, you don't want to use it unless you can finish him off and one-shot him. So let's take a look at this Jork, okay? Let's say I'm having a long fight. You want to use your QE, hit him, wait for your Q to come back up, then you want to jump on him. If you don't have a choice but to use your E to gap close, because let's say he can escape, that's when you have to use your E. Or if you finish off the target. But generally speaking, you almost always want to hold your QE, and now I'll show you some examples. Alright, take a look at this example and look at my QE, okay? As I use my QE, I can use my E again here, right? But I'll wait for my Q, then I will QE, so I have my dash again. And now, let's say if I want to jump on Needly, I can jump on him. If I don't have any choice but to use my E to gap close, I'll use it. But right now, well, he's out of vision and I can't reach him anymore. But my point is that like having your E in fights is very important because look at this following example. Alright, take a look here, right? You can see here I'm fighting here and you can see that I have my E available. QE, I will hold my QE. Of course, let's say I could jump on a Jhin. I don't care about having my E off cooldown. But let's say I cannot reach him, right? As you can see, I'm like, okay, Galio's next. I'm using QE. I keep hitting him. I don't use my E. I still have a QE. Now, sadly, I cannot reach him. But I have my ultimate available. Sorry, my E, I mean. So now I still have my E available. And by having my E available, I can actually put this chunk out. And now I double dash because I could kill the target. That's when I use my QE. But let's say that previously, which is let's say that right now, I would have wasted my E. I would have never been able to do so. So use your QE as much as you can, unless you can one-shot them or you really need to use your E. How to use E to dodge spells. So right now, okay, what you have to understand about Diana E as well is that like it can jump behind targets. So you see this dummy? I'm jumping behind him right now. However, as I go a bit further away, I'm jumping in front. So when do you go behind? When do you go in front? So it's very simple. You see your flash? The moment you're outside your flash range, which is let's say right now, I'll jump on the front. The moment I'm in the flash range, I'll jump behind them. You see? Actually, that's like a little. Okay, like now I'm more in range, I guess. But that's basically how you know if you can jump behind them or in front of them. And this is very important because take a look at these examples. Alright, take a look here, okay? I'm fighting a Pantheon very soon. And you can see that Pantheon bases a spell, E, which blocks my damage, right? But I know that the moment he presses it, I can jump behind him. So now, basically by me knowing my E jumps behind him, I'm anticipating his E spell, which is blocking my damage, and then I can deal damage. So understanding that this ability can help you a lot. Not only does it like get behind them, let's say that you need to dodge a skill shot and you anticipate it, you can jump behind them and they won't be able to hit you. So timing your E with their spells is very, very important to know. Diana Ultimate. So there's a few things you need to know about Diana Ultimate. Basically, it slows them by 60% and reveals them for 2 seconds. And it essentially is a pretty OP ability. However, you need to understand the following, which is that, let's say this target has flash. You don't want to QER and hit him. Because if he flashes out of your ultimate, he can escape. Because take a look, right? You see this range? This range essentially is still, let's say here, okay? Boom. It's basically a flash range. So guess what? If the enemy is flashing away, well, they won't get damage. So what you want to be doing is hit them with your ultimate and walk on them. Walk the direction they're probably going to run to. If they're slowed, you will always be able to hit your ultimate, even if they flash or dash. So make sure to like QER and move a little bit towards the direction if they flash. Another thing you need to know is that like you don't have to flash ult. That's very slow combo. You should ult flash. If you ult flash, it's impossible to react to. Another thing you need to know is that When should you use your ultimate? Well, let's say you QE a target. You don't want to press your spells too fast. Ideally, you want to be in the middle. So you see this dummy right here? That's when you want to press your ultimate. So as I press Q here, right? You want to press your ultimate in the middle. Because remember, it has a buffer time. Do you see how it says Moonfall? Right here. That's the buffer time. So if you're in the middle, it's enough for it to work, okay? So that's how you wanna use Diana ultimate. And now I'll show you some team fights on how to use it properly. Take a look at this fight here, right? So I'm about to go for a fight here. And you can see here, as I press ultimate, okay? I am not auto-attacking. Why am I not auto-attacking? Because Vayne has flash. So to see how I'm like walking, not queuing. And boom, I landed my ultimate right now. But if I would have auto-attacked him, right? I would not have been able to hit my ultimate. So especially if you know they have summoners or dash, like anything, please walk onto them first. So if you do that, trust me, you will hit your ultimate. And in my opinion, hitting your ultimate is very, very important. Now, I'll be showing you another example. Take a look here, right? You can see here, I ultimate, I don't stand still. I walk on them a bit to make sure if they flash, I hit them. You see the Ezreal? He tried to flash away, but he still gets hit. If I would have stood still and used my spells, this might have not landed. And now they're getting cooked basically, you see? And now one last example. Take a look here. Same example. In this case, usually as well by the way, I would love to QE. But if you see a very good ER angle, and usually if you just hit multiple targets, you don't have to QE and sweat it. If you have a good ER, trust me, you already win the fight. So here you can see I'm walking as well. And look at Ezreal. Ezreal uses dash, but he couldn't make it. So like, hook your enemy like crazy, and then you can start hitting. If they flash, they'll still get hit basically. And now I'll show you something else too. Team fight ult usage. Alright, so in this example, take a look here. What you should be envisioning in a team fight is the following. Basically, when you see these targets, ideally you want to ult as many as possible, right? Right now they have no vision in this bush, and technically the vision they have is this. So as I'm walking here, right, I'm looking, okay, when are they stacking? I'm not gonna use my Q first and E. I want to E ult instantly. If they see my Q flying, they can react to it. But if you ER instantly, there's a lower chance. And why don't you want to Q either? Because if you can ult multiple targets, they're all gonna be stacked. Then you can use your Q and hit this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. So take a look here, right? I ultimate. What happens is that they're all stacked. Guess what? This is the easiest Q to hit in the universe, and I'll hit 4 targets. So right now you can see I use my Q. I hit like almost everything, I believe, besides an Ezreal. And that deals so much more damage. And you can see they're literally getting popped here. So now I'll show you another example. Alright, in this example, take a look here. I Q'd the Malphite, but one thing you have to understand is that my Q stays on the Malphite for a little bit. So the longer you wait, the better it is. Because think about it. If I jump in right now, I have my Q off cooldown, these guys can hit me. But if I can just Q the front line, wait just a little bit, as much as I can, then by the time I jump in, I'll have my Q a lot faster coming up, right? So now you can see that, okay, I'm waiting a little bit, but then I see Aphelios greeting. So what am I doing? Would I wait for my Q? Or would I E on Aphelios? Like, what would you do here? Like, I want you to think about it, okay? How would you play this team fight? And pause and think about it. And let's take a look. Alright. I hope you thought about it. But basically, remember, Diana could ult flash. If I can hit this guy, and my Q is coming up in 2 seconds, I'll have my QE, and even if he flashes, I can QE after him, and have another dash. So right now what ends up happening is that I ult flash, hit both targets. Here I made a mistake, by the way, by not actually walking forward. I was hitting him. But now, I have my QE still. So the beautiful thing now is that, like, I can just QE him. I Q him. I dash towards the Malphite to get close. One-shot him. So now I'm going to show you the team fight fully again. So you can take a look. From here. So you can see here there's a fight here. And one thing as well, right? By hitting your spells, you stack your Conqueror and Riftmaker. I have a QE. Double dash. and now he's dead, and they get cooked. But that's how you want to teamfight as Diana, and essentially as well, I'll show you like one example front to back, okay? And honestly, I really tried hard to find an example, but it's difficult. But think like this, okay? Let's say that this is the front line. If you're hitting a front line and your back line is pushing out, just keep hitting the front line. Because what's happening is that you're gonna stack Conqueror stacks, and if you stack Conqueror stacks, and then your backline is trolling, you can then go on the backline after. But starting by hitting frontline as well is pretty good, till the backline comes in, and if you think you can kill them. That's how you want to be using Diana ult, generally speaking. And it's very important you understand just how to pilot this champion. And if you're now wondering, Kirei, what else are you gonna learn me? Watch my unranked to challenger that I'm doing right now. This is my Twitch link, and it'll be uploaded on YouTube. And I'll be showing you exactly everything that I'm explaining you. I hope you guys enjoyed the Diana video, and this is basically me. Don't look at my background. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's it for the Diana guide, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I would really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. And I'll see you guys around. Much love. I love you all, and have a nice, wonderful day. Peace.